COVID-19 has put communications very much in the spotlight, and once again, an unsung hero has been SMS. I'm joined this morning by Nick Millward of messaging giants mGage. Nick, thanks for joining us this morning. Tell us how SMS just keeps on delivering and what part it's playing in the crisis.
Thanks, and good morning, Brian, to you too. So yes, certainly we're seeing SMS going from strength to strength during the current pandemic. In fact, we're seeing around about a 33% increase in volumes of SMS over the last two months or so. So yeah, it certainly is still a channel of choice for companies to speak to their customers on. And I think there's a number of reasons for that. I think, SMS is something that once it's delivered on the phone, you pretty much guarantee that people are reading that. It obviously varies in different geographies, but certainly in the UK and many parts of Europe, it's certainly being read. So, when there's a message that needs to get out there, a short message, short, sharp piece of information, it is a perfect channel really for delivering that message. So we're really seeing this present itself in many different ways. We're seeing it in the banking sector, for example, where the banks are right now offering mortgage holidays, for example. Supermarkets is another area where we have the elderly and the vulnerable, again, where we can get information out about deliveries and potentially information where people can register if they are elderly or vulnerable, and they can get deliveries in a slightly different way to others. We've been working with some governments as well to just get message out to the population in bulk. So, again, SMS is a perfect channel. It's there pretty much to hit every device, and we know the coverage with SMS is pretty much in every household today. So it's a very, very highly effective, fast, easy way, cost-efficient way to get a message out there that's particularly important given the current times. And what we're finding is other channels as well are benefiting from this as well. So in terms of marketing, we're seeing a number of companies are actually sending messages out to inform their customers that on certain product lines, things are at a reduced rate at the moment, for example. And if you think about kind of the charity sector, obviously, there's an area there where we're able to help in terms of switching things to donate potentially. We've done some campaigns which are donations to NHS, for example, where we've switched solutions from what they previously were prior to the COVID-19 now to potentially helping people out as well, in particular the NHS as one example.
So for organisations who are looking to perhaps improve their communications, what are some of your top tips to help them?
I think in terms of the tips, I think the most important one, or I think there's a few things, but I think importantly, I think being relevant. I think, we're unable right now, or brands or companies are unable really to continue as they have been in terms of the communications that they would, have typically done, I guess, prior to February this year. So I think relevancy is even more critical right now. You have to be very, very subtle and very, very careful, I think, in the message that's being delivered. If companies are still sending out what they were prior to, I suppose, January, February, it could just come across in the wrong way. And I think relevancy is particularly important. I think adding mobile to the mix as well is important now. Naturally, I would say that, but again, genuinely, we're seeing, through the mobile channel in particular, it is a very effective channel to get a message out there. So I think adding mobile into the general messaging mix is particularly important. I think the other area is conversational as well that we're seeing. That it isn't just a one-way fire message and forget. What we're seeing now is a lot of use cases or campaigns that are being set up, which is very much two-way and conversational. So, if you think about, for example, a customer service center, previously you would pick up the phone potentially and you could get some information from an IVR, or you could, and certainly given the current climate, you can be sat on a call for some time before you get through to somebody. But what we're seeing right now is that through mobile, conversational messages are happening. Is a more efficient way for a customer to send a text message in or another type of mobile message in, and then it can be in this asynchronous mode where message can come back from the company to their customer, not in real time potentially. So, we're seeing a lot of kind of two-way conversational messaging particularly bubble up. And I think the final piece really in terms of, if you like, advice, I think it kind of goes back to the relevancy piece, which is kind of being prepared. I think listening to the government updates on a daily basis, things are changing very, very frequently. And, I'd like to think that we are coming out the back of this, the peak has passed, and changes are happening so that certain businesses are able to open their doors again. They're able to operate. So again, I think a big thing is being prepared for that. For example, I think large warehouses right now are encouraged, and construction sites are encouraged in the UK in particular to go back to work. So, why not use the power of a simple text message to get that out to your customers to inform them of that?
Yes, it's interesting times, and SMS, as we say, is playing a key role in this. What's the future for the technology?
I think the future is more rich content. So we talked, and I've mentioned a lot about the simple text message, but the feedback that we're getting from some consumer studies that we've done is that people are really opening up a lot more to wanting to work with richer type of content. And what I mean by that is, I think the kind of Facebook, WhatsApp, that type of experience where it starts to introduce video, images, some other technology which is enabling two-way conversation to be a bit more straightforward, such as chatbot technology. So I believe that that type of technology is starting to open up, in particular between consumers and companies that they work with. So in terms of specific technologies, I think rich communication service is the key one, which is RCS, as we've talked about before on these types of sessions. But I really think that rich communication service lends itself well to make that next step in the customer journey. I think Apple Business Chat is another one, which kind of, if you like, bridges the gap between Android and Apple. And then we are looking at other solutions such as WhatsApp as well. And again, I think what you see today is a high population of friends and family using that as a channel to talk to one another. But I really think that in the not too distant future, those types of channels will be opened up much more for companies to talk to their customers. And we know that the consumers actually want that and are ready for that now.
Interesting times. Nick, thanks very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Brian.
So SMS is playing a key role in keeping us safe and keeping us connected, and it has a bright future ahead of it too.